Let me ask you something. Have you ever caught yourself thinking, does she really like me or does she like my wallet? It's a tough question, one we don't always want to face. On the surface, she might seem charming, fun, and interested, but deep down you might feel that something's not quite right. Today, we're breaking down behaviors that reveal a woman might be using you. These signs aren't always obvious, and the truth might sting, but once you see them for what they are, you'll never be stuck in this kind of situation again. Behavior 1. Everything feels transactional. Let's start with the most glaring sign. If your interactions feel less like a relationship and more like a business deal, you're in trouble. I've seen this play out with my friend Eric. A few months ago, he started dating a woman who seemed like the whole package, smart, funny, and full of energy. But this was the catch. Every time they hung out, Eric paid the bill. Dinners, weekend trips, and even random expenses she casually mentioned in passing. At first, he didn't mind. He figured, that's just what you do when you care about someone. But then one night, Eric decided to ask her to split the bill, just once. Her reaction, let's just say it wasn't pretty. She barely said a word the rest of the evening, and the energy between them changed overnight. That's when Eric realized. It wasn't him she cared about. It was what he could give. Ask yourself this. Does she give back without expecting something in return? If the answer is no, that's not love or connection. It's a transaction. Behavior 2. She avoids defining the relationship. You've been seeing each other for weeks, maybe even months. You're spending time together, meeting each other's friends, and doing all the things couples do, but the moment you ask, what are we? She freezes up. She might say something like, why do we need labels? Or let's just go with the flow. At first, it might even sound refreshing, modern, easygoing, and free of drama. But over time, you start to notice the cracks. Here's the truth. Avoiding the question isn't about being carefree. It's about keeping their options open. A real connection involves clarity, even when things are casual. If she's sidestepping every attempt to define the relationship, it's a sign you're not on the same page. Think of it this way. If you're on a train with no destination, the ride might be fun for a while, but eventually you'll realize you're just going in circles. Behavior 3. She's emotionally distant. Here's a big one. Does it feel like there's an invisible wall between you? Maybe she's happy to hang out, laugh, and have a good time, but the moment the conversation turns serious, she's suddenly distant. Real relationships require vulnerability, letting someone see the real you, flaws and all. If she's keeping everything surface level, it's worth asking yourself why. Is she protecting herself, or is she simply not invested enough to let you in? One of my coworkers shared a story about a woman he was seeing. Everything seemed perfect on paper. They had fun together, and she was always warm and friendly. But when he tried to open up about something deeply personal, she shut it down, saying, "Why do we need to get so serious?" That was the moment he realized she wasn't emotionally available. If it feels like she's holding back, it could mean she's more interested in the perks of the relationship than in building a true connection. Behavior 4. She makes you feel guilty for saying no. Here's a scenario. It's the end of a long week, and all you want is to relax. Then, out of nowhere, she calls and asks for a favor. Something last minute and completely inconvenient. You explain that you're exhausted, expecting a little understanding. But instead, she hits you with, "Wow, I guess I know where I stand now." Suddenly, you're questioning yourself. Should you have dropped everything? Are you being unreasonable? This isn't an isolated incident. It happens over and over again. Here's the thing. People who care about you won't weaponize guilt to get what they want. If she's constantly making you feel like you're in the wrong for prioritizing yourself, it's a major red flag. Think about it this way. In a healthy relationship, your no should be respected. If it's not, she's not respecting you. Behavior 5. She disappears when things get tough. This one hurts the most. Imagine you're going through a rough time. Maybe you've lost your job or you're dealing with family issues, but instead of being there, she's suddenly too busy or says, "I'll check in later," which never happens. Now, contrast that with a partner who's truly invested. She doesn't need to solve all your problems, but her presence alone is a testament to her care. That's what real relationships are about. Being there for one another. Here's the truth. Anyone can show up for the fun times, but a real partner stands by you when things get messy. If she disappears the moment life gets hard, it's a clear sign she's not in it for the long haul. If any of this feels familiar, it's time to take a step back and reassess. Relationships are supposed to lift you up, not drain you. If her behavior leaves you feeling used, undervalued, or constantly questioning yourself, don't ignore the signs. Remember, your time and energy is valuable. When you stop tolerating less than you deserve, you make room for the kind of connection you've always wanted. If this video resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need to hear this. And if you've experienced any of these behaviors, drop your story in the comments. I'd love to hear how you handled it.